back in the studio. I went from right over there where I just ate to over here where we're doing the radio show. And hello, South Florida. Welcome to another live edition of the Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate and America's longest running daily radio show, all about the topic of real estate. Ken, are you not getting me? Ken, are you there? Hello? Hello, hello? Ken, can you hear me? Hello? I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay, since you're ready. And hello, South Florida, take two. It's another live edition of the Real Estate Show, and you can tell that it is live and unrehearsed. My name is Eric Willner. I am the host of the Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate and America's longest running daily radio show, all about the topic of real estate. And today is Tuesday. Tuesday is our tools, tips, and techniques edition of the Real Estate Show. As we continue in our week themed about the automaticlandlord.com. But before I get started, I want to say, as I've been saying this week, a very special thank you to all of our listeners. We had a great announcement yesterday announcing our new time beginning November. We are adding a 5:00 p.m. edition of the Real Estate Show. So for those of you who enjoy listening to a little bit of real estate during your drive time, we are going to prime time, drive time at 5 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. Now you can still hear us in all the same places. #1, our original station, AM 1470. That's on the AM dial at WWNN. Also, the FM side of things, we're on 95.3 FM. We are on 96.9 FM. And then travel a little bit further up the dial, we're up there on 103.9 FM as well. So 4 local radio stations, all of those carried onto the iHeartRadio. If you want to find us on the iHeartRadio network or tune in or some of the other free apps that you have on your portable devices, then just search for WWNN Money Talk Radio 1470. That's WWNN 1470 Money Talk, however you put it in there. But put it in there and also share that with more friends. Remember, sharing is caring. So in addition to all of those places, you can catch us also on our website at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com, where you can listen to us live at 5 starting in November, but still today at 8 p.m. That's 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. And you can also go to the same place, automaticlandlord.com, and listen to our archives there. So we've got years and years and years and a couple more years of archives there on the website. You can also download the podcast version, and there's all sorts of resources on that website as well. So lots of different places, and thanks to you and your feedback and the messages that you've sent the station, which is why we're being brought to 5 p.m. on November the 1st, starting that month and going forward. Now, it's going to be very interesting and a lot of fun, and I want to say that for us, it's exciting to be in front of more audiences. Remember, our mission here is to empower more people to own and buy real estate. As I mentioned before, everybody is in real estate in one way or another. The truth is that the really only difference is that you're either in real estate where you own a piece of land where you benefit from the shelter or you benefit from the rent from the land. But everybody is either in real estate or they live and work on real estate. And whether you pay rent or whether you are the owner, real estate is a part and parcel of your life. So you might as well get to know it. And if you listen to the Real Estate Show long enough, you ought to be able to benefit from it. We got so much good stuff going forward. Remember, We have been building up for this moment for a long time. While everyone was sheltering in place, where else but on their real estate, we have been busy at work and building a foundation for the relaunch. We've been talking about that. We talked about the fresh start. We've been talking about all these things. And yesterday, if you missed yesterday's show, you got to go back and listen to it, because I kind of broke down all of the new things that we've got planned. We're kind of having our New Year's early, but certainly we're going to give you a running start for just a dynamic 2020. So regardless of when the iPhone comes out, regardless of which president gets elected, and regardless of what the economy does, you and me, our listeners and followers here on the Real Estate Show, we're going to create our own economy. And I'm going to talk about that and how you can benefit. So just follow along. Join us each and every single day, Monday through Friday, for our show, so that we can bring you along on this trip. You're automatically a member of the Real Estate Show Club right here. So make sure that you mark your calendars, set your alarms, and join in with us. Now, as I mentioned, each week we start out by setting up a theme. And the theme may go on for the entire week, but we approach that theme from a different perspective. On Mondays, it's sort of the agenda. It's sort of the management view of what we're going to be talking about and about the subject itself. And of course, from the manager's seat here, from the chairman's seat, we got to kind of give you an outlay of what's going on, not only for this week, but for this month, for this next 2 months. And as we march very quickly to the end of the year, we've been talking now about the automatic landlord, because ultimately, I think many of you out there are interested in real estate, not because you particularly love to paint walls or sand wood. I think it's because you want what real estate represents and what it can bring. And that is a complete new and different lifestyle. And especially now, when we're talking about working from home, working out from home, eating at home, play, everything that we have to do. More and more people now are shifting their requirements of real estate. And that's what we're going to talk about the next week. But right now, I want to start laying the groundwork for those of you who may know us here, not only as America's longest running daily radio show, but also as the automatic landlord. Now, this is a process, this is a procedure, a system that I have developed over the years. And in fact, every day when I go out for my 30-minute run, and I just got back from that maybe about a half an hour ago, I come up with new ideas and I think the whole system through, and then I take it apart and then try to put it back together in a better system. And so today, for our tools, tips, and techniques, I want to share with you sort of an let's call it a 10,000, we're going to come down from the 30,000 foot view down to a 10,000 foot view, and I'm going to lay it out for you in chunks so that you can understand the automatic landlord system. And then going forward, we're going to break down each one of those stages, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages that we go through. And the first one, which is very interesting about the automatic landlord, is that it's very similar across the board in real estate. Because to get into real estate, what's the first thing you've got to do? You got to get some real estate. Now, some of you who were born in the lucky crib club, that you may have gotten real estate as a gift and it came to you magically, right? Then there are those of you who now have bought real estate, either financed or with cash. But the bottom line always comes down to, how do I get real estate? And assuming that you're not in either one of those two clubs, that you're going to start today and we're going to go out and get some real estate, then we have to go out and find out where the best real estate is. Remember the old adage of location, location, location? Well, it's never been more true now. Now, what's interesting is sometimes that what is location, location, location can change, right? And for the last 10 years, as the millennials have been flocking towards the more metropolitan areas, because they're in their single early adult years, just getting launched in many of their careers. They loved the place where they could not have to drive, where they could easily Uber to wherever they were going. And all you need is one once a century pandemic to change all of that. And now you're seeing people actually fleeing the large, densely populated cities, looking for more spaced out places, bigger houses where you can accommodate not only a family. Many of the millennials now have matured to the family raising years, but now you've also got the higher earning power of the more mature millennials. And now with the pandemic and all of these other factors in place, now they want to make sure that they can keep a little distance from the neighbors, and if necessary, that they can let the kids go out and play, get fresh air without worrying about being exposed or harmed or in any form of danger. So the first thing you got to do is figure out how to buy it. And we have a system in the Automatic Landlord where we can, and you've probably heard us talk about this in more detail, about how we can select areas based on the values of the property, the relative value of the property to other areas around it. We always look for sort of the median price range, because that's also where the most demand. So when it comes time to sell and move on, it's the easiest. There's the highest demand. You'll get the highest return, the biggest bang for your dollars. But we want to be able to go in there and find these properties at a discount and be able to go into our properties already with a head start and extra equity, more than what we put down. In fact, we like to, in many cases, double what we put down. Now, tell me where in your other investments can you predictably go and double your down payment? And we're going to talk more in detail about that. But that's the idea, is to find a place, and depending on if you're going to put 3% down, let's double it to 6%. If you're going to put 10% down, let's double the equity so that you have 20%. And ladies and gentlemen, and my friends, the investors, if you're going to put 20% down, why would you not want to double your down payment into equity and then come up with 40% in that situation? And we can even further do that. Remember, we talked about the 5 big advantages of real estate: the income, the tax advantages, the equity build up both automatically through the systematic pay down of a mortgage, our accelerated version of the pay down. That's our Monday show, remember? And then we can force equity build up through improvements and optimization of the house. And wait till we get into the subject of real estate optimization. And then we talk about the appreciation, which is a lot more out of our control. What we can do as real estate investors and homeowners is get in the way. In other words, you got to own real estate when the appreciation comes. And so if you bought real estate a few years ago, that's what you've been enjoying, is have that, all ships rise in a rising tide. And all we want to do is wait for that tide to come in. And then there is the leverage aspect. So part 1 that we're talking about is the buying. Okay, that's stage 1. And I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break, hear a few words from our sponsors, and I'm going to jump right into stage 2, because we'll break down the buying more in the weeks to come. But you got to know where we're starting from. And while it may sound obvious, I think you learned a little bit in our first section there. So you're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner. Don't touch that dial. We got a few messages here, but I will be right back. So we had a few little technical difficulties going in, but nothing that will stop us. They can slow us down, but they can't stop us. And I'm super excited about what's going on for those of you who are listening to our Monday show. You can see that we are we're now getting ready to expand into the 5 o'clock rush hour. It's a prime time location. Kind of have worked our way back into that location, so that's kind of neat and exciting. So let me say a quick hello to first of all to our YouTube watchers there. Thanks for the thumbs up and the comments there. Let's see. Oh, I see. I even got Among Us on our YouTube saying hi. So hi to Pink kind of subs. Let's jump over, and Brian, how you doing? Brian is our dual channel fan there. I see Brian also there on our Facebook. How are you doing? Felipe. So we got Brian, Southern California. Felipe, more Northern California. Barbara. How are you, Barbara? Barbara, you're like part of the show from the beginning. So let's see who else we got here. How do you like that news, Barb? A little reminiscent, coming back to the 5 o'clock hour. You should see how far the technology has come since Charles and I first started the show. And I think about him all the time. Always flawed. So we've been playing with the lighting, and so when I wear my glasses, you can see the light rings that are right behind the cameras. But I can see that it's improved. At least now, a lot of people who were looking at the previous stuff, they were looking and asking if I had colored my hair blonde, and I go, well, it's gotten a little grayer, but I didn't color it blonde. So got all these messages coming in. Thanks. Oh boy. What the heck happened there? All right. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us, you are listening to The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate, America's longest running daily radio show all about real estate. Bonafide and verified, America's longest running daily radio show about real estate. And I'd like to think that there's a very good explanation and a reason. And that is the systems that we employ that help protect real estate investors. And nowhere else will I think you hear some of the things that we talk about, the common sense approach, as my old partner would say, the simple and safe approach to buying investment grade real estate. And so in today's show, which we're following along the lines of a system we developed called the Automatic Landlord, and you can get more information about this on our website at automaticlandlord.com. But phase one, of course, is to buy the property. And that begins the system. And also you're going to hear us talk on Thursday, where we're going to talk about the cycle. Now, the system and the cycle are two different things, and you might think that they might mean the same thing, but stay tuned on Thursday. We're going to break down the cycle, the importance of the cycle, and the one of the goals that we're always trying to do is how do we shrink the cycle. We always want to complete the cycle, but imagine if typically the cycle is done once every 7 years. Imagine if we could shorten that, and if on purpose. And, a little bit of a side story here. Over and over and over, with very few exceptions. This weekend, I had one of those happy exceptions. But I meet folks, they're getting ready to retire. And then they had hoped all along, they built this business, wanted their kids to take over the business. The kids had no interest in the business, or for whatever reason, there were no kids to take over the business. the fact is that they come to a point where they've been successful their entire lives. They built this business and they go to sell the business. And 9 out of 10 times, if that business, that family business owned real estate, it was often worth many times what the business was worth. The real estate, built, the prime warehouse in the section of Manhattan in the garment district is a famous one. But you'll see, whether it be a warehouse or an office building or something where a dental building, medical building, where they bought the building because after a while they got tired of paying rent and they just, they thought it was the only logical thing. It wasn't part of a big plan, but they bought the building that they were in. When they go to sell the practice, they come to find out that people are much more interested in the value of the building, and the building was much more valuable even than the practice. Because after all, when you're a dentist, a doctor, or many of these businesses, it's the business owner that practically is the business. And when he goes away, unless he's got a very strong and consistent book of business, what else is he really selling? Whereas the real estate, which they may have bought, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, now when it comes time to sell, that is a major part or major value of the business. In fact, many times. And so my point there is, what if instead of that happening accidentally as a happy coincidence, what would happen if you planned that on purpose? And that part of your business building strategy was to build a little real estate empire, which built in a secondary source of income. Remember our conversation about multiple sources of income, and a longer term retirement plan, far better than what most people ever are able to save up in their 401k or their 401, whatever. So step 2 is typically in this step, in this automatic landlord, is to now fix up the property. We call it rehab, we call it fix it up, improve, but whatever the case may be, if we're going to get a property at a really good price, very often what we're going to get is something with some deferred maintenance, repairs that need to be made, upgrades or updates that need to be made in order to get the highest rent for the property. So phase 1 is to buy the property. Phase 2 is to rehab or fix up the property. Now, here's an interesting thing is, we talked about the real estate ladder, and as we refine the real estate, the automatic landlord ladder, this is where a lot of people actually step off the ladder again, because what they do once they rehab it, they sell it and they go back down to the bottom of the step, which is the system, not the cycle, but they have a short cycle and they just keep repeating that cycle. Now, I'll tell you, that means that you're going to repeat the hardest work part about it. The hardest part is finding a great deal and doing the repairs, because the next step that you do, once you do the repairs, step 3 or phase 3 is to put that property up for rent and to rent the property. Now, what the property would have rented for when you bought it would not have been as much as what the property rents for now that I have improved or updated the value. And so now I have increased the value. Remember what I said? How we're going to double the equity, and we're going to even do better than that. And now we're going to rent it for top market value. And at this point now, not before. So back to the buying, the initial phase, you may have bought that with 100% cash, right? You might be fortunate enough to have that cash, and you might be fortunate enough to be able to bank all of the repairs out of your funds and reserves as well. But as we through the next couple of weeks and we break this down a little bit further, I'm going to tell you why even if you can, you shouldn't. Okay, even if you can, you shouldn't. If you're going to follow the automatic landlord, don't worry about the economy. Today, the market was down. Yesterday, the market was down. Tomorrow, the market will be up. And you're wondering whether you're timing your rehabs in with the presidential elections and the phase of the moon and all these other things. Remember, I said in the beginning, we're going to do our own economy. We're going to do things on our own time this time, and we're not going to let the economy pull the rug out from under our feet ever again. So we buy the property, we rehab the property, we now rent the property for top market value. And by the way, right now you're getting top market values for rents. So this is a great time to be doing exactly what I'm talking about. Now, once I go ahead, now let's say that all the money that I had, and I was fortunate enough to pay everything out of pocket, but I used everything and it's all invested in one property. I now rent the property, and then I go ahead and I stop. No, what I want you to do now is that we're going to refinance the property now at its new higher value, taking the money back out. And then now we're going to go back to the beginning of the process and repeat the process. So you're going to do this. Now that is one cycle. Now, many times in order to get the maximum value of the property, you have to wait 1 year in order for the banks to consider the market value, not your recently discounted purchase price. And we're going to talk more about that on our Thursday show. Now, remember, tomorrow is our midweek report where we'll be talking about landlording, the automatic landlord process, and we're going to talk about that in the context of the economy, the news, the stimulus, the presidential elections, and all of that stuff. And you're going to find out that while all that stuff is interesting, what really matters is that you got a great system here, the automatic landlord system. So the music is coming in. That's where we'll break and wrap it up for today. Remember, join us each and every weekday evening right here. However you found us, whether it be on our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Real Estate Show, whether you're following us on our YouTube channel, whether you're following us on any one of the 4 local stations, or at our website at automaticlandlord.com, where you can also continue to send us feedback messages and requests for more information. We love it. Keep it coming. Remember, if you're watching our Facebook, go there, smash the like button, share it. Sharing is caring. And we hope that you'll join us again, same place, same time tomorrow. So until then, this is your host of The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner. We'll see you when we come back. Remember, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it an automatic day. Thank you, Ken. So John was just telling me that he was listening to me on the radio coming down from Orlando on 96.3. That's awesome. How far away could you catch that signal? I didn't know that the signal went that far north, but that is absolutely awesome to hear. So that is very awesome to hear. Anyway, I'm going to, first of all, wrap up our YouTube's live stream. Thank you very much. And love the love. That was cool. Thank you.